You're smart. You know how to listen to suggestions and make your own decisions, right? Why trust two Aussie brothers talking shit about cryptocurrency? So do yourself a favor. Research the topic before doing anything financially. Now, for that banging intro music.
Welcome to wtf-is-crypto-space. I'm Brett.
And I'm Chad.
This podcast is all about the crypto space.
It's a shout out. It's all about a time and shout out. New theme song, bam.
Hey, Chad, thanks. Saranac, Michigan is our highest ranked town for the week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. You guys
for
are
calling
rocking.
in.
For calling up and telling us your problems about the crypto space. The number is 0000000. It's actually going pretty good. It's got one at the end today. All right, today's topic is 57% in Australia can't afford an extra $100 if the interest rate rises. Australian regulators have finally made a move on the initial coin offering. That's two topics today. So, Brett, let's start with the first one. 50% of Australians can't afford an extra $100 if the interest rates go up.
Okay, all I got to say to start off with, Chad, is shit. That sucks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah.
So $100, right? $100. That's it. And so if that's 0.45% of interest rate. So if the RBA puts up their interest rate by 0.45%, not even 0.5%, right? 57% of Aussies are underwater.
Well, I think the biggest thing about being obviously a homeowner myself, the payments every week to week, and I'm not Robinson Crusoe. Like, everyone's done this forever, but the idea that the interest rate is so low right now. Like, I remember mum and dad. Was it like 12% or 15% or 17% back in the old days?
7.5%, yeah.
7.5%. Now that was good for when you had your money in the bank, but if you had a loan with the bank, it also was the opposite way around. And yes,
so
I agree with you.
My question to you, Chad, is since the beginning of the year, have you had more than a 17.5% return on cryptos?
Yes. Yes, I have.
And so, look, the key is here, and this is the big thing about pointing out this sort of article, because I know we're talking about the crypto space, is... You know, it's like, you remember that ad, right? Charterboat? What Charterboat?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Charterboat? What Charterboat?
It's like, housing bubble? What housing bubble?
Yeah, well. Yeah, the prices are artificially being inflated kind of by... I actually was at I was doing a party, and there was a gentleman talking about, he was a younger bloke, he's 20 years old, he's in business and IT, and I thought, that's a really good place to be. And he's like, yeah, it is, except that the houses in Sydney... are constantly going up like 10% every year, something ridiculous like that. And I was like, are you serious? And that's great if you're already in the market, but if you're not in the market, it's shit. It's just, you have to move out to,
but in some of those suburbs, right?
And
some of the suburbs that we're talking like just on the outer city, right? X13, right? So that means that they have 13 times overvalued these properties are. Now, if they even lost 40%, they'd still be down to, 7-8 times overvalued. I mean, at the highest, right? And I'm quoting, I got sent this, so, shout out to Greg for sending me these facts.
Is that from the Facebook?
Yeah.
Greg
yeah.
For the Facebook.
And
yep.
so, but, shout out to him, though, because he was saying that when LA was at its top, this is in the last financial crisis, they had 7x on theirs when they had their crash. We're at 13x in Sydney.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I think about that. It was all it takes. What we're talking about, a balloon or a bubble, right? All it takes is one prick, and it's all gone.
Chad, there's a lot of pricks in Australia, but
I know.
The thing is, here's what we're going to say: is we pointed out a few things. We were joking around a few episodes ago. We talked about, you asked the question in your frequently asked questions, is crypto or is Bitcoin in a bubble? And we were joking around and we said yes. Okay. The answer is no. On a long-term trend curve, we are but just like an aeroplane taking off at this point in time. We have so much further to go. So come around to the second, we're talking about Australian regulators. Now, this is where it carries on, Chad. Now, there's a follow-on. The Australian regulators have finally made a move. Now, we were joking again.
As we do.
It seems to be the case, but the initial coin offerings have made a move. Now, you've had all the FUD that's come out of China, you've had all these bits and pieces, and suddenly, boom, Australia turns around and they give us a good one for once.
Yeah, they're basically talking about regulating stuff, and Americans have actually made a huge move. They're a bit ahead of us. They've made a move towards regulating initial coin offerings. Which is what we're talking about. And I do want to ask you at the end of this particular place how I can get involved in initial coin offerings and what websites it is to go. But before we do, we'll just go through this. I was reading the article that you sent me, and that it's interesting that ICOs are so volatile. Well, the coins that are attached to them are so volatile when it comes to speculation on them.
Yeah, there is a lot going on at the moment. With it, and the hardest thing is that this is just a form of crowdfunding.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
We've tried a couple of different ways. We've had IPOs. IPOs have been around for years, but look, there is a few commentators out there that have pointed out that the thing about IPOs is that they take such a large percentage of good quality good quality capital. So rather than doing it that method, people are taking the option of an ICO. Now, like anything, if you're going to do investing, you should do your due diligence in what you're looking at. It's just that simple. And we're adults in an adult world, so hey, we need to pull up our socks and check these things out. But with Australia, this approach is so remarkably different.
Yeah.
So remarkably different. Now, the thing is that in a way, they're actually encouraging the ICO market to grow in Australia.
Yes, they are. They're taking the between the China guys who are going no and the Americans who are kind of regulating in a certain thing. All they're really asking for is, regulations to include list of members, tokens held by those members, and to basically pay taxes and present financial things at the end, essentially, is what they're saying.
Look, the hardest bit is a portion of the people that are trying to get into ICOs in the crypto space, they are taking it in a different way in America. It's illegal for some providers because the SEC is seeing this as being not really something that they want to be involved in. Hopefully what this will mean is that this will open up the mechanism for groups of businesses to sort of go down the ICO path. Now, you said before, well, how do I get involved? Now, one of the things is that there's always going to be different providers sort of sending out. There are a lot of scam coins out there, heaps of scam coins out there. And don't just think because they got a white paper, they might have copy and pasted someone else's website, duplicated, sent a link. Hey, even myself, I almost fell for one the other week. And so, look, in terms of purchasing it, I would definitely say go check out JSnip4's channel. Mm-hmm. He's got a really good video on My Ether Wallet. If you type in My Ether Wallet or how to get a My Ether Wallet or My Ether Wallet and JSnip4, you'll get some good information about that. Nice and simple way to do it. That's the technical side. Look, at the end of the day, there are going to be different options for this in the not too different future, especially looking at some of the technology that's coming out for Litecoin and Bitcoin, which might actually enable ICOs, not to mention Neo as well. So,
And are we finding that the ICOs are being offered mainly on the websites of the particular tokens rather than through, say, a Kickstarter particular platform or something like that?
There are a couple of smaller places sort of popping up, like Blockcat, sorry. They're one that's sort of looking at doing that. The only other one that I would say that's worthy of time, and I think they've got their ICO open at the moment, I'm not endorsing it, I'm just suggesting that this is the case, is Etherparty. .io, etherparty.io. Yeah. Now, those guys are fantastic. I met them when I was over in Vancouver earlier this year.
Yeah.
they've got some awesome people on their team, and it's definitely, they're going in the right direction. So the idea with that is that they're more interested in the smart contracts and sort of helping people to do business and transact. At the moment, ICOs is just a crowd funding mechanism. And that's the big thing that it's about. So,
and actually, looking at BlockCat's token sales at the moment, they have a value of 23,799 Ether at the moment raised. Looking at Etherparty, the guys that you met, they have a actual graph on their page at etherparty.io, and it's 54% complete. They have 2,214 contributors to that. They have 26 days left as of this recording.
Look, and the main thing about it is look for integrity in the program that's being released. And I would also suggest that look at seeing whether or not they can deliver on the product they say they're going to deliver on within the next 6 to 9 months. You as an investor need to be patient, because other companies like Pillar Token, which we will talk at some point in the future as they get a little bit closer to their tech, Pillar Wallet is going to be a brilliant tech and what they're looking to do. But since I bought in the ICO, you probably have to wait about 9 or 12 months. And so if you think of it this way, you're tying up your capital for that period of time, and you just have to be comfortable with that. It's a long-term investment.
I'm guessing aside from Kickstarter, they don't actually take your money until the end. But I did see in that article that as a final note that the Asian and Oceania, how do you say that word where we're included in it? Oceania. Anyway, us and the Asian,
us and them, yeah.
No, I wasn't trying. The Asian countries and us have just said
it's a bit. Oh no, hang on. That's not true. The Asian countries, us, and the New Zealanders.
Yeah, and those New Zealanders across the ditch. They basically said that they do support it, investing in it, but just beware, as we always say, be aware of anything you chuck your money in, as you would always do your research. But Brett, that's it from you?
Absolutely. Thanks, John.
All right. Thanks, guys, so much for listening. Like us once and comment on the chat below. Also, click subscribe to this podcast to get your weekly podcast updates from us knuckleheads, and you'll get that in your podcast feed every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. But until next time, I'm Chad.
And I'm Brett.
Let's get excited about the crypto space.
The transition has begun.
Do 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 do. Do you know on that list is China, Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, and as a final note, they wrote at the bottom that Japan is ramping up their efforts to monitor ICOs. So
look, we will talk about those because they are going to be huge.
Huge. Thank you so much for joining us here at the end. We will be turning this N bit into probably its own little podcast for our Patreon and our contributors. So, this is going to be it's exciting times for wtf-is-crypto-space, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a few things in the pipeline. You and I got an awesome Friday ahead.
Hell yeah.